I'm an asshole. I know it probably sounds like I just said I'm an asshole, but what I actually said was I'm a nice hole. Just because I've been realizing a few things in the last few weeks. It's been over 2 weeks since I made my last video, only because I've been busy and not much has happened. A bunch of small stuff, but it never seemed important enough to make a video. And one of the realizations I came to a couple weeks ago was that I'm not happy with who I am. Mostly, I'm happy, but I'm too much of a nice guy. And even though that seems like a good thing, it's not always a good thing. Because for most of my life, I've put other people's well being ahead of mine, other people's happiness ahead of mine, and that makes everyone around me happy. Unfortunately, it means that I always come last. And given what I'm trying to accomplish in this life, the kind of life that I want to live, and the things I want to accomplish, that's not really going to be possible with who I am. And I got to the conclusion where I just got tired of being nice. I just got tired of everyone just, I don't know, living their life, making things so complicated, complaining about everything, political correctness. It's just like, it gets so much that it's like, it becomes ridiculous. It's like, yes, be a nice person, respect other people. But at the end of the day, it's like, just, express who you really are. Don't hold yourself back. And I've been doing that subconsciously my entire life. And I think it comes back to a bunch of different things. It's like, my brother was autistic, so he required a lot of attention from my parents. And my way of dealing with that was to try to be perfect and try to please my parents all the time. And that way it's like, well, I won't cause any extra trouble for them because they already have to deal with my brother, which was great for them. It sucked for me, unfortunately, because that means that I was always trying to be perfect to get validation from my parents and then later on from teachers and from pretty much everyone in my life after that point, which is definitely not healthy for me. And I've conditioned myself over the years to get my sense of happiness and fulfillment and validation, everything from other people, from making other people happy. So it's like, I take on the responsibility of other people's happiness, other people's success and how they feel, and I try to improve their lives. And when they do better, I'm like, yes, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. I made that person's life better, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, when stuff happens and their life doesn't get better, it gets worse, or something happens and they're sad, then I feel responsible, even though most of the time it's not my fault. There's nothing I can do to help. So there's absolutely no advantage to me feeling bad and feeling responsible for their happiness or their sadness or whatever's going on. But because of the way that I've conditioned myself over the years, that's who I am. And I got to the conclusion of like, I'm sick of being that person. I don't want to be that person that's holding me back. I just want to change. I want to not care what other people think. And I've already done that. In the past, when I was younger, and for a large period of my life, I would lie because I was embarrassed of my addiction to porn and the fact that I used to write erotica and, all the different issues throughout my life. And I used to lie about that out of shame and embarrassment and fear of what other people would think of me. I overcame my fears and got to the point where I literally make videos on YouTube and publicly share like, hey, I have erectile dysfunction. Hey, I had sex with an escort. Hey, all these things that most people would keep to themselves. So I've gotten to the point where I really don't care what other people think. Unfortunately, for some reason, I still take responsibility for how other people feel, even when it's not my fault. To give you an example, I've been in Bogota for 1 month, and there's this girl I met on Tinder a couple days after I got here. We went on a date, ended up sleeping together, saw each other 4 or 5 times since then. And for me, from the very beginning, I was clear. It's like, hey, this is just temporary. I'm going to leave soon. I don't want to fall in love because I did that in the past in Guatemala and it really broke my heart and it hurt and I don't want to go through that again. So I made it clear from the beginning, like, this can't become serious. Unfortunately, over time, she fell in love and ended up, getting her heart broken when I'm leaving. By the way, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'll get to that soon. And even though I was super clear from the beginning, I did nothing wrong, didn't lead her on. There's absolutely zero reason why I should feel bad. Unfortunately, I still feel guilty. I feel responsible. I feel all these things because of her inability to restrain her feelings and the fact that she fell in love. So it's like that type of thing. That's the kind of thing that I don't want to feel bad for. It's like, hey, it's not my fault. I did what I said I would do. So I want to get to the point where it's like, I'm brutally honest all the time. And that's going to offend some people. And that's fine. I really don't care. I want to get to the point where it's just like, I'm always telling the truth. And if you can't handle it, that's fine. You're not the right person to be in my life. We're not meant to be together. We're not meant to be friends, or whatever that relationship is. I have no issues with that. Unfortunately, because of this responsibility that I've taken on for other people's well-being and happiness and everything, I end up sometimes lying. As an example, I still regret that. I don't know why I did it. That girl, like, I was clear from the beginning, like, hey, this is just casual. It can't be anything serious. I'm going to leave eventually. And at some point, anyway, I forget how it got to the point, but she basically asked me, like, and I was like, hey, I have something later today. And she asked me, like, is it a date? And because I knew that by that point she fell in love, I felt bad for saying yes. So I lied and I said no. And I'm like, why did I do that? It's not my responsibility. She knows that it's not exclusive. She knows that I'm dating other people. So it's like there's no reason, yet this desire to keep other people from feeling bad made me lie. And I don't want that to happen again. Just like I don't want to feel bad if someone falls in love with me just because they weren't able or they weren't clear on exactly what was going on, even though I made it clear. So it's like I don't want to feel bad for stuff like that anymore. And the way that I describe that is I want to become an asshole. Like, I just don't want to care about other people. That doesn't mean I'm going to become a bad person. I know myself. I'm the type to go out of my way to help other people. So it's pretty much impossible for me to go to the other extreme and just become like an asshole to everyone. That's not going to happen. So I just need to put myself first. I need to respect myself. I need to be honest. And I just need to learn to live with that without feeling bad. And the term that I realized today is it's kind of like halfway between a nice guy and an asshole. So I'm a nice hole. That's the term I came up with, which is the title of this video and the intro to this video. So that's the whole explanation for the nice hole thing. Aside from that, in the last few weeks, let's see, this is going to be a summary video where I pretty much just sum up everything. And then once I get to my next destination, I'm going to be able to probably start doing videos a little more consistently. So let's see, the last couple weeks, been dating, been feeling like crap for making other people feel bad, even though it's not my fault. Been struggling a lot with that. There was a couple of days where I'm just like, crap, I gotta be an asshole. I don't want to be an asshole. Like, I've identified so much with being a nice person that the prospect of crap, I need to become an asshole in order to respect myself and not feel bad, just got me depressed for a while. So there was a few days where I went through that. And now I'm feeling better because I realized, like, it's not about being an asshole. It's just about respecting myself, being honest all the time. Even if most people aren't used to that and some people won't like that, that's okay. That's who I want to be. And that's all that matters. And also I realized that I don't need to go to extremes because I've realized I've been doing that a lot. And it's not just me, it's humans in general. So it's like, it's not like I'm unique or whatever. But we like to, one, make things way more complicated than they have to be. And two, I forgot number two. But basically, we like to make things very complicated and difficult for absolutely no reason. As an example, my thought process was, oh man, I need to become an asshole in order to respect myself. When in fact, I don't need to. If I want to try to be an asshole, I can be an asshole for a day. Try it out. If it's a good fit, cool. If not, okay, that's not the right fit. So it's like, I don't need to go to the other extreme. I just need to start respecting myself. And I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but that's my goal and that's something I'm going to be working on in the next few weeks, months, or years, or however long it takes. All right. That's the story about being a nice hole. I still find that funny. All right. Aside from that, what I've been doing, not visiting much. for the last couple months, I've barely visited anything. My life has consisted of pretty much work, relaxing, watching TV, and going on dates. And, of course, having sex every once in a while on the back end of that. Which is nice because I'm getting to the point where it's like I've traveled for 5 months. It's like I've seen a lot of stuff. And it's like, even though it's nice to see new things and meet new people, it's like I'm okay with just having a quiet little routine for now. And even though I still enjoy traveling and I'm traveling to another country tomorrow, I don't feel the need to constantly be visiting and doing the touristy stuff or having adventures or, living extreme lifestyle. So didn't really do that much of that or any of that in the past month except the last 2 days where I went to a natural park, really cool, nice views, nature, exhausting though, but really fun. And then yesterday I went to pretty much walked up a mountain that's near the city and there's a lookout at the top. And, that was pretty much it. So I visited those two things. So I did what I wanted to do in the city in the last few days. So that was good. It was really hard because yesterday was the last day that I was with that girl who fell in love. And even though I kept myself from falling in love, it was still painful. I still felt guilty. I felt sad for her, responsible, and all that crap. So anyway, part of life. And I guess all that's left to talk, oh, actually two things left to talk about. Business and then my next destination. We'll start with business just because that's been kind of in back end for a while. So I don't remember exactly how much I shared about my business in the last video, so let me give you a brief overview. My business at the moment is building a newsletter where I promote offers of how to make money online. So my target market is, hey, do you want to make money online? If the answer is yes, sign up to my newsletter. I'm going to send an email to you every single day promoting or offering you a way to make money online. So it can be an online course, coaching program, whatever, something like that. So basically, you want to make money online. You don't know the best system for you. Sign up to my newsletter for free, and I'm just going to send you a bunch of different ones. You look at them and pick whatever is best for you. On the back end of that, I make commissions because I'm an affiliate for all these different programs. That's the strategy. And on average, when you have a value or like a good quality list, they say you make about $1 per subscriber per month. So my goal is like, hey, if I want to get to $10,000 per month, I need 10,000 subscribers. That is the basic strategy. However, as I've been setting that up, I've been realizing a bunch of things and seeing a bunch of different strategies and systems and everything, and I'm realizing that I'm probably overcomplicating things. That is a good long-term strategy. Unfortunately, it costs money to set everything up and test the different sources of traffic and see how do I build that list? How do I build a quality list? What kind of incentives do I want to have? Do I just want them to sign up for the list? Or do I want to ethically bribe them with some sort of free gift to incentivize them to sign up? So that's a very good strategy long term. That's still what I want to do. That's the business I want to build. However, it's going to take a while and it's going to take money. So in the meantime, I'm realizing that the better strategy is going to be to find the best and highest converting affiliate offers on different platforms like ClickBank and other things like that. Take those, find an audience that matches that and promote that. And if they're good offers, they're going to convert well and I can start generating money from that. And then I can use that money to build my list to set up the business in the long term. So that's pretty much the strategy. It's pretty simple. Actually, it's very simple. That's the whole point of it. And I have a multitude of strategies on the back end of that on how to build and to increase profits and how to get paid to build the list and how to, anyway, monetize everything. So it's like once I start setting that up and it starts generating profit, I have like a bunch of different ways that my friend Aaron and I came up with to really make a bunch of money off the same amount of work. So I don't have to do more work, I just make more money. So business-wise, I'm feeling very optimistic. It's just a question of time and testing different things. So far, I've spent a lot of money. A lot of it was on the different various trainings for different programs and things like that, and trying to drive traffic and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And it's like, I've gotten a little results. Like so far, okay, brutal honesty, I spent $7,700 so far on, like I said, various programs and advertising and tons of stuff. And I spent way more than I had to. but I'm focused on the long term. So I'm willing to spend a little more upfront to test things, to get the proper information, to set up things properly to make more in the back end, than to start slow and scale up. Just because I know myself, I'm not the type to go slow and steady. I'm the type to go all in, to challenge myself, to build something, and then once it's set up, I can move on. So anyway, spent all that, and so far I've made 2 sales for a total of approximately $9. But they're just front end sales and there's potential for multiple upsells. So I could literally make thousands of dollars on the back end of those 2 sales. And my newsletter is constantly promoting new offers. So it's only a matter of time before I make more money. Unfortunately, I'm still way, 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 way in the red. So that's why I'm realizing like, okay, that's a good strategy long term. I'm still going to do that. I'm still going to perfect everything and build a list. However, I need for now to start generating profit, and the best way to do that is to keep it as simple as I can and find offers and promote them directly. Even if I don't build my list, even if it's not in the make money online niche, which is the niche I've been passionate about for the last 14 years. It's like I've been looking at different offers and networks and everything. It's like maybe 90% of the top selling offers have to do with weight loss and fitness. So even though I have no passion for that, I'm like, well, if I find a good offer, might as well promote that. And if I can find a way to generate money relatively easily, well, that's a good way to keep traveling, not go broke, and at the same time build a business. So that's kind of the business strategy going on at the moment. Of course, it's way more complicated than that. There's so much work, so many different opportunities I could be focusing on, but I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I'm taking things one thing at a time, one program at a time, one strategy at a time, build things up, test things out, and go from there. All right, so that's for business. All that's left is where am I going next? So for the last few weeks, I've been here and I've been sensing, all right, it's time to move on, except I had no clue where to go. Because I'm like, I was thinking, okay, I'll just set up the business, see how it goes, and then that'll help me decide what my next move is. Unfortunately, as it always does, things take longer than expected and don't necessarily happen like snap. Oh, you made a crap ton of money. Like it can happen, but it's rare. So I got to the point where 3 days ago, I was like, I need to book my flights now because if I wait any longer, it's going to be way more expensive. So I did a little research. I'm like, do I want to stay in Colombia, go to a different city? Do I go to a neighboring country or a completely different country? So started Googling a bit, considered going to Bolivia to check out the salt flats. Unfortunately, the flight from here is like $400-500. I'm like, that seems a little pricey, especially just to go see something flat and boring. So it's like, all right, one day I definitely want to go. Now it doesn't seem like the best. I then considered going to the Galapagos Islands just because, I mean, it's one of the, most beautiful destinations in the world. And there's a bunch of turtles, and I like turtles, and I like the ocean and swimming and everything. So I'm like, oh, sounds like fun. Let's check it out. And every time I looked, because it's the country right nearby, like next door. So there's Colombia, and then there's Ecuador, and then there's the Galapagos Islands that are part of Ecuador, but it's like separate islands. So every time I looked, the flights to the Galapagos Islands were some of the cheapest. I'm like, cool. Every time I click on it, I go to the website, it's like double the price. So I'm thinking it's like, oh, $280. It's like, nah, it's more like, $400-500. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. So anyway, ended up not going there. And I kept looking at the flights, and the cheapest flights, aside from within Colombia, were always to Panama and to Dominican Republic, to Costa Rica. I considered going to Panama just because it's the nearest country and because I'm thinking, all right, I wanted to go to Asia to begin with, but everything was closed down. Now it seems like it's opening up a bit more. Unfortunately, the flights are super expensive. I looked, and a flight to Malaysia, which when I looked at the start of the year or end of last year, was around $800, let's say. Now I looked and it's $3,000. I'm like, no way in hell I'm paying $3,000. So what if I go to Panama Canal, there's going to be a lot of ships going there. Some of them are bound to go to Asia. What if I get a job on a boat so I get paid to go to Asia, and at the same time I live this cool experience of working on a ship? Unfortunately, I did a little research, and turns out yeah, you need special qualifications to work on a ship, so probably not the best strategy. So, all that to say, I'm going to Costa Rica because it's the cheapest. And also, it seems really beautiful and seems like a cool place to go. At this point, I'm like, I can go anywhere, it doesn't really make a difference, so Costa Rica it is. So, aside from that, don't really have any plans. I booked one night in San Jose, which is the capital, and that's where I'm flying in. And after that, I'm thinking of going to another city, not quite sure where, but definitely somewhere near the ocean. Because San Jose is kind of in the middle, and then there's like the two coasts, and there's beaches all around. And I'm like, I want to be on the beach for a while. So my plan is probably for a couple weeks, week or two, maybe go to a few different cities, and pretty much just chill on the beach, relax, go for swims, work on the business, and figure out what I want to do. Because at the moment, it's like I have the business thing figured out. It's like I know what I want to do, I know what I'm testing, and it's just a matter of time before it starts working out. Aside from that, I'm like, I still enjoy traveling. I still want to keep traveling for a while. Eventually, I want to go back to Canada to visit friends and family because I miss them, of course. But I don't feel a need to do that right away. So, yeah, until I figure out what the plan is pretty much chill on the beach and work on the business. So, this has been a pretty long video, but definitely not my longest. So, that's pretty much the update for the last couple weeks. Hopefully, I'll have more to talk about in the future when I'm in Costa Rica. And I'm looking forward to fully converting to being a NiceHole. I still need to figure out a way how to open these videos and close these videos because now that I shifted the focus of the channel, I have no clue how to do that. Because like I'm talking to myself, so I don't need an introduction or a conclusion when I'm talking to myself because I know myself. I don't need that. That's not important to me. So I guess all that's left to do is just stop recording.